I don't know if you've looked at it yet, but I think Vienna, Austria, like has solved it. Them and maybe one city in Finland because they've built the housing. I don't know if you've looked into that yet.
Yeah,
If
I think
that's
there are some problems with that. Like I said, it's not possible. Like we don't have the political will to build enough public housing that conforms to zoning and building codes in any U.S. city to make a dent in our homelessness rate because it's too expensive. Like it's public housing is not going to solve the homelessness problem or the housing crisis. And the housing crisis impacts way more than just people who are homeless.
yeah.
But yeah.
I think I saw a stat. 150 million people worldwide, and it was like 1 or 2% of the entire world's population are homeless, which is crazy when you start seeing numbers like that. I was trying to like, are these people like being serious, or like why they refuse help? They view shelters as dangerous places. They feel inundated with religion and substance abuse and mental health counseling with them. And that, in fairness, like Downtown Rescue Mission, right? It's a faith-based thing. I know you mentioned that or asked Keith kind of in a questioning, hey, is that required? If you're Muslim, can you still go to a Christian facility? They cannot bring their pets into the shelter. They refuse to comply with mandatory drug treatment requirements. They do not like shelter rules. They feel like shelter workers treat them like children. They know that many homeless shelters have bed bugs or body lice. They feel stressed and crammed when in a shelter, and they enjoy a sense of community that people in the street share. I don't know. These are interesting things. This may have been written in Canada, but maybe there's a difference of if you were to survey different homeless people in different cities. But it certainly makes me think when I come across these supposed responses, right, from someone who might be homeless.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting, but it's also kind of neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Because shelters are not a long-term solution to homelessness. Shelters are definitionally an interim solution.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have in the United States and growing cities is long-term chronic homelessness. And so whether people are in shelters or on the street, in Huntsville at least, there's not a wait list for shelters as far as I know. However, what Keith was saying was that like if you're on the sex offender registry, you
can't go.
There's no shelter in any area around here that will take you. You have to be outside. So,
and I think you guys talked about some wild scenario where some guy, they ended up getting married, but when they were teenagers, they had some sort of sexual thing, and he ended up being on the list, and now like forever, it never gets removed.
Yes.
Even though they're married.
Yeah. I mean, you can get on the sex offender registry for, if someone underage sends you a naked picture of themselves. You can get on the sex offender registry for urinating in public. You can get on the sex offender registry for all kinds of things that absolutely do not indicate that you're any danger to anyone else.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's kind of neither here nor there. The solution to homelessness in the long term is housing. And until we build sufficient housing, like we're going to have a homelessness problem. And it would be great if we had enough shelters for everyone in the interim. And that's a fine goal. But at the end of the day, that's not where my focus is. My focus is on like, we have created homelessness through our policy choices, and we can solve homelessness through our policy choices. And so rather than trying to make homelessness like less punitive, which, I think that's something that like Downtown Rescue Mission and Love Huntsville are working on. And I think that's awesome. Like we should not criminalize homelessness. People should not be forced to sleep outdoors. But at the end of the day, my goal is not to make homelessness more comfortable. It's to eliminate it.
Yeah.